deciding when the voting goes out, because I read an article. It says the voting goes out like late November, early December, around the Pro Bowl ballots. And then I went back and Steve and I, my chief research guy, we saw an article said it went out sometime between November and April. If this ballot went out after the playoffs and Patrick Mahomes is not number one, everybody that voted is a fool. Patrick Mahomes' team came from behind in 3 games by double digits, and they won every game by double digits. He averaged 300 yards passing, and in 3 games he had 10 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, and he had a QBR of 89. That's fact. So for someone to say there are 3 other players that they would rather have, the players, and look, Skip, I've been a player, but for someone to say that Patrick Mahomes is the 4th best player in the NFL is utterly ridiculous. Considering what he's done over the last, if you just take the last 2 years, if you just take and I get it, Skip, if the voting went out in November, remember, Skip, he missed 2 games and basically 3/4 of another game on a quarterback sneak, he injured his knee. So if the voting went out in November, because for the better part of the season, it was Lamar and Russ. Who's going to get this thing? And then the last 4 games of the season, Lamar took off and he didn't look back. He went to Seattle, did a number on Seattle, and when he came out here, Skip, to the Coliseum, it was over. What he did that Monday night, Skip, it left no doubt in anybody's mind who was going to be the MVP. The question was, is he going to win this thing unanimously? Because, man, but Skip, for someone to say Patrick Mahomes, given what he's done over the last 2 seasons, a regular season MVP, a Super Bowl MVP, 5,000 passing yards, 50 touchdowns, and his first game back off injury. Let this sink in for people. His first game back from injury, it was on the road in Tennessee. He throws for 446 and 3 touchdowns. We saw what that defense did to Tom Brady at home. We saw how confusing that defense was for Lamar Jackson. And he went for 446. And just for good measures, he said, y'all thought I was playing. I'm going to get you at home. I'm going to spot you 10 and then do a number on you. Skip, it's outrageous that this guy was voted 4th, because he should have been nothing but 1.
Okay, back to your original point. I'm pretty sure, because of all I have read and all I have heard, the ballots went out around Thanksgiving. They're on pace with the Pro Bowl ballot. They try to send them all out at the same time. This is very different than voting for the Pro Bowl, because on this ballot, each player is asked to rank a top 20, not a top 100, because, as you well know, no NFL player would sit down long enough to say, let's see, who's number 89? I think I'll put,
exactly.
Right?
Yes.
It could take hours to put together a top 100. So they're asked to do 1 through 20.
Correct.
Which is why, if you just stop at 20, that a bunch of really good quarterbacks didn't even make the top 100. You're all worked up about Carson Wentz. I'm more worked out about Ben Roethlisberger and Matt Ryan and Baker Mayfield and Matt Stafford. They didn't make the top 100. Kyler Murray, it was an outrage to me that he was only 90th on this list. But you can see if you just go to 20, I didn't put him on. Well, Roethlisberger didn't even play last year. Matt Stafford was gone most of the year, so they don't make the top 20 that a lot of people pick. In the early days, and this has been 10 years of this competition, in the early days, they were only getting 20 to 30% of the players to even send in their ballots. This year, according to Pro Football Talk, 57% of NFL players did actually send the ballot in, which I think is pretty good. So that's 970 ballots they got in, and it's total players. It's sort
about
of
16, 1700.
Yeah, 16 to 1700. So it's 57%. It's pretty good. So now we have an idea about how level or not level this playing field is. It's a little bit of a flawed way to concoct a top 100. So I'm not going to get terribly worked up about this, but before I get to all of your points, allow me to say once again, I have nothing against Aaron Donald personally. I just, listen, I know he's fired back at me on Twitter. I like you. You're a good guy. You're a great guy. By all appearances, everything I've heard, he is really a fine human being. He is a team leader, a team pillar for the Los Angeles Rams. I take nothing away. but you're not better than Patrick Mahomes. And he ranked third to Mahomes fourth.
Right.
And several years he's won this competition.
Yes.
And I'm like, how can you don't do enough at your position by virtue of your position.
Right.
And I don't want to pile on to poor Aaron Donald, but just a quick point. I've watched 4 times he's played my Dallas Cowboys. And in those 4 games, I turn off my TV thinking, wait, was he hurt today? I don't remember him. He